Over the years, I have been lucky enough to visit many amusement parks across the world, and in this video I will be counting down my top 10 favourite parks. This is a tough list to make, as one's experience at a park depends on so many variables, some of which can't be controlled by the park or change depending upon the visit. I have based this list mostly off of personal enjoyment I had during my visits to the parks, also factoring in the lineup, operations, theming and some other smaller factors as well. Make sure to comment down below where you disagree with me and let me know what your favourite parks are. Kicking off the list, at number 10 we have Canada's Wonderland, a park which really surprised me. The lineup is decent, with a great top 3 consisting of Leviathan, Behemoth and Yukon Striker, with the first 2 even making my top 50. However, beyond that the park is lacking good coasters. The flat ride lineup is pretty good as well, with a nice variety, and the park visually is quite nice. While not the most impressive in terms of theming or setting, it is well presented and well maintained, and the B&Ms are very photogenic. It is also worth noting that the operations at this park are excellent. When I visited, it was quite busy, but we never waited more than 40 minutes for a ride. I just had so much fun visiting the park. Behemoth and Leviathan are so re-rideable, and I enjoyed getting as many rides in on them as possible. At number 9 we have Knott's Berry Farm. This park is perhaps Cedar Fair's most beautiful park, as it features some great theming, especially in the ghost town area, and the rest of the park is well presented. The lineup is solid but not outstanding. I visited the park before Hang Time was built, but Ghost Rider, Accelerator and Silver Bullet made for a solid top 3, but I wouldn't consider any of them to be elite. The supporting lineup is decent but quite small. The park is also held back by its operations, which were particularly bad on Ghost Rider, leading it to have a long line even on a fairly quiet day. I would also like to mention that the food options on my visit were pretty good, which is also a small bonus to the park. I think that this park could be improved in some aspects, but for its small footprint, the park is great. Taking the number 8 spot is PortAventura. This Spanish theme park has some great theming throughout, with the Mediterranean entrance area being the standout. The lineup is pretty good. The top 3 of Shambhala, Red Force and Furious Baco can hold its own, although it isn't one of the best. The supporting lineup outside of Dragon Khan is pretty weak and limited, although the drop tower at the park is an incredible thrill ride. There are a few complaints I have, which hold this park back for me. Firstly, the 2-gate system for the parks isn't really warranted, as Ferrari Land is such a small park that it should have just been included with PortAventura. The operations at the park also aren't great. They aren't dreadful, but for how busy this park can get, they should certainly be a bit quicker. But overall this park is beautiful, with a solid lineup, and it is certainly a must visit in Europe. At number 7 is Islands of Adventure. Now I know that many people see this as the best park in the world, but for me it doesn't have the quantity of attractions to justify a higher placement. The park almost feels like half a park, and with the extremely expensive ticket cost, it doesn't feel like you get good value for money. However, thankfully this park does not feel like nearly as much of a rip-off as Universal Studios Park next door. Despite the attraction lineup being small, it is quite excellent. Velocicoaster is an elite coaster which makes my top 20, and Hulk is a good second best. Outside of that you have Hagrid's, which is a good family coaster. The dark ride lineup is also pretty good, with Forbidden Journey and Spider-Man being among my favourite dark rides in the world. Jurassic Park River Adventure is also worth noting, as it is one of the best boat rides I've ever experienced. The operations at this park are also flawless, so despite heavy crowds, the lines are always moving fast. This park is beautiful and has some great rides. However, the park only has under 10 rides worth riding, which is ridiculous for a park of its calibre. At 6 we have Hersheypark. This park was already in contention for the best lineup of any amusement park in the world, even before Wildcats Revenge opened. When I visited, the top 3 of Skyrush, Candemonium and Storm Runner was incredible, and all 3 make my top 50. And the lineup is quite deep and filled with quality rides such as Great Bear and Fahrenheit. Outside of the coaster lineup, the park is well presented, with the exception of the back half by the water park, which is quite ugly, but hopefully that has been improved upon with the addition of Wildcats Revenge. The operations at this park were mixed, but for a park of this scale they should have been better. So whilst the lineup of this park is one of the best, it does have a couple areas in which it could be improved. Coming in at 5 is Busch Gardens Tampa. This park is a combination of a theme park and an animal park, and let me tell you, this park has a really good lineup. Iron Gwazi is the clear best, but the supporting lineup is also great. The park also looks beautiful with great theming and landscaping. Busch Gardens Tampa is let down by how poorly it is run. The operations at this park were awful. Thankfully I visited on a relatively quiet day, but Montu had an hour line just because of the one train operations and extremely slow dispatches. I do love the whole atmosphere of the park though, and if the operations were improved upon, it would be a contender for my favourite park. At number 4 is Dollywood. This park is one of the best settings of any park, being located in a couple valleys on the edge of the Smoky Mountains. It really capitalises off of this setting, as almost all of the rides in the park use the terrain in some type of way. The park is just beautiful, and has some decent theming throughout as well. The lineup is pretty good. Lightning Rod is a clear standout, and the supporting lineup is decent, with Tennessee Tornado, Wild Eagle and Thunderhead all being some pretty good coasters. The operations are mixed at this park, but overall decent, and the food is also surprisingly great. Also, the staff at this park seem to be really friendly, which is a bonus as well. And I just love the whole atmosphere of the park. Kicking off the top 3, we have Energylandia. This park is a very weird park, especially since it's so new. The top 2 here is my favourite of any theme park, with both Hyperion and Zadra making my top 10. The rest of the lineup is pretty weak however, but the top 2 more than make up for it. People often complain about how tacky the older sections of this park are, but I honestly don't mind. It's stupid, but it gives the park some charm. The operations at the park are always fast, not just on the coasters as well, but all round, as even the food places never get a big line due to how many there are and the efficiency of them. The park is also clean and well maintained. So while the park may have some very obvious flaws in the theming and lineup, it is run perfectly, which makes it one of my favourite parks in the world. At number 2 is Silver Dollar City. Now Silver Dollar City has the best setting of any park I've ever been to, located in the Ozarks. The park is in a forest and you're always surrounded by trees, which gives it a really unique atmosphere. The theming throughout is also good, and the park is really well maintained, and the food here is also great. For the number of coasters it has, the lineup is great. The top 2 of Time Traveler and Outlaw Run is excellent, with both making my top 30. And the supporting lineup has some really unique and fun rides, such as Powder Keg and Wildfire. The operations at this park are its biggest weakness. In particular, during my visit, Outlaw Run had some really bad ops, and Powder Keg was only running one train. If this aspect was improved, quite honestly, Silver Dollar City would be my number 1 park. But that goes to Cedar Point. To start off, the lineup of this park is incredible and unmatched by any other park, with Steel Vengeance alone making my top 3. And then the rest of the lineup has some of the best rides of their respective types, including Gatekeeper, which is my favourite wing coaster, and Raptor, which is one of my favourite B&M inverts. Not to mention the 2 Intamins, Maverick and Millennium Force, which both are incredible coasters. The operations at this park are great all round, which is nice considering how busy Cedar Point can get. The theming isn't great, and the park suffers from a lot of downtime, but those are the only flaws. The park is front to back rides, and the location on the peninsula gives some great views. There is a reason why so many enthusiasts consider this park the best in the world, and I would not disagree with them. So that was my top 10 parks. Let me know what your top 10 is in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.